from the home of Big Blue Nation. This is BBN Gameday, presented by Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance. Big on commitment.
Welcome to BBN Gameday, and it's an extremely important game day today because Kentucky basketball tips off against North Carolina at 2 o'clock. Welcome into the show. I'm Keith Farmer.
And I'm Christy Thomas. A different opponent for the Cats than the one originally anticipated, which is weird. The whole thing is weird. Kentucky is playing Roy Williams and the Tar Heels really, really slow. So right from the tip, they've got to bring that energy and intensity and understand that you can't dig yourself a hole and then try to dig out of that. This team's a little too young to be in that kind of position.
No doubt.
Calipari is the best of the best. So if we've noticed these differences, then you know he has noticed these differences. The voice of the Wildcats, Tom Leach, did as well.
Look, there's hope now. If that's who we are, those 20 minutes, there's hope. All right, now we got to play 40. If some guys shouldn't be starting, they won't start. You can't start, man. You fumble balls, you don't come up with it, no. And then if it's somebody's got to play less minutes, they're playing less. I mean, this isn't, is what it is. But like the fact that we came back and we toughed and we did some good stuff.
There's a quality test, certainly, coming up. And we'll see if Kentucky can build on the second half against Notre Dame. And if they can, then maybe they can, pull out of this and continue to improve, hopefully quickly.
You can hear more from those guys every Monday evening on the UK Healthcare John Calipari Show, hosted by the voice of the Wildcats, Tom Leach. It airs at 6 o'clock across the UK Sports Network affiliates and streams live on the Kentucky Football Facebook page. Fans can call in and also submit questions via Facebook and Twitter.
I was saying, one of those passes you saw, the backdoor cut, that's the sharing we haven't seen a lot of that Kentucky needs to do more of.
Yes, making the extra pass, this is just reading the defense, a young team that I think, again, so many things are going to start to come together. We're going to see things change. It's all right. We're going to right the ship here.
It's going to take a little bit more time this year. There's so much going on. All right, Calipari talked about the toughness and fight from that second half, but another big area of improvement from the first to the second half was Kentucky's defensive effort. The Cats limited Notre Dame to just 16 points in the second half. The Fighting Irish went from sinking 6 3-pointers in the first half to just 1 in the second. Of course, it's hard to hype this up too much since Kentucky's comeback did fall short in the end, but the Cats did put themselves in a position to win. And Christy, I mean, again, find the open man, find the guy where he likes to take the shot. I think that's real key. Knowing where that guy wants it and where he wants to receive the pass and that spot on the floor he likes to hit the shot from.
Offensive efficiency is what that is, right? Kentucky didn't let Notre Dame score for more than 9 minutes in the second half. That's when the Cats went on their 16-0 run and cut the lead to just 4 points. Now they need to give that effort and some energy and fight for the full 40 minutes. This is what we're talking about, is putting a full game together. If you're going to play at this level, you got to get that done. Devin Askew, who Calipari says will now be the backup point guard to Terrence Clark today, talked about how it felt as a team to get rolling in that second half.
That game gave us a lot of confidence and shows how we can play with a lot of energy and fight. I mean, a lot of people say that we don't fight, but the second half, I mean, it just proves to us and ourselves. We don't have to prove anything to anyone else, but it proves to us that we can fight and we can be that team that Kentucky usually is. And it just gave us a lot of energy after the game. I mean, even though we lost, a lot of us were still up because it's like, wow. Like, we can keep going off of this, and this is who we are, that based off that second half.
I like everything that he said there, and I also think that it's not a bad thing, him being a backup point guard and coming. He's so young, he's so inexperienced. I think it's going to be fine seeing him in that role.
And I think, too, that kind of, you would assume, moves Davion Mintz to a shooting guard spot, which I'm okay with as well, because it gives him a chance to drive, to shoot, to dish, and do what he can as well. I mean, again, positionless basketball, right? It really doesn't matter who that point guard is, I don't think. I mean,
I agree with you. And looking for what works. At this point, John Calipari is just looking for what works to get in the win column. That's it.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
We're going to keep this conversation going. We've got an interview with another new assistant coach on the UK sidelines. That's coming up a little later in the show.
Yeah, but before that, we have to talk a little bit of football, right? Big week for those Wildcats. Hear from Kentucky's new offensive coordinator when BBN Gameday returns. Stay with us.
BBN Gameday, presented by Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance. Big on commitment. Sponsored by Central Bank, Coca-Cola, Kroger, Papa John's, and Toyota.
With roots dating back to 1946, Central Bank remains a community bank dedicated to serving the people and businesses of Kentucky. We're here, as always, with customer service and support, as well as online and mobile banking services available 24 hours a day. For the latest information about your options for banking services and resources, visit us at centralbank.com. Central Bank, central to you. Member FDIC.
'Twas the holiday season, and as is often the case, magic was found in an unlikely place. Molly tried her best to make introductions. Dad couldn't see past his grown-up assumptions. But thanks to fresh ham and warm apple pie, Dad was finally able to see with fresh eyes. May the magic of fresh food never be over. Happy holidays to all from your friends here at Kroger.
Sticky notes are part of our daily lives. And people have found some pretty creative uses for them. As Kentucky's insurance company, we appreciate the resourcefulness and the fact that billions of sticky notes are made each year right here in the Commonwealth. And we think that's something Kentuckians find pretty noteworthy. Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance. Big on commitment.
You're watching BBN Gameday, presented by Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance. Big on commitment.
Welcome back to BBN Gameday.
Well, the UK football team officially filled 2 of its vacant coaching positions this weekend with one person. Liam Cohen has been hired as Kentucky's next offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach, and it certainly seems like he's prepared. Listen to this.
I mean, you always got to be a little bit over-prepared, right? So I had about a 300-play video to, just not to go over all 300 plays, but just to have some stuff. And just in case you want to talk about some different situations and things like that. And we got through about, 50 clips maybe. And that was about already 2.5 hours. So we had a great meeting and just talking true philosophy and what he envisioned for his offense, the style of play that we have here with the Los Angeles Rams is something that he envisions, for his offense moving forward. And I agree,
Love it. I mean, he was so prepared, and part of being prepared, Christy, is knowing your personnel. Cohen has already been studying Kentucky's quarterback room, and he says it might even look a little familiar.
When you turn on Bo's tape, the one thing that really stood out to me, I watched his high school tape, and then I watched him play a little bit against Vanderbilt. You see he's a long levered kid, right? He's got long levers. He's a long, tall kid, skinny guy, but that's what Jared was coming out too, and he's only grown and matured into his body and sped up his release. And you do see some similarities for sure. And that's intriguing. That's definitely intriguing. And
Talking about Bo Allen there.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting to hear those thoughts as well. Cohen was not the only addition to the UK football coaching staff this week. Mark Stoops also named Eric Wolford as the new offensive line coach. He's coming to Lexington from Columbia, South Carolina, where he worked for the Gamecocks for the past 4 years. He has 25 years of coaching experience.
He's technically replacing the late John Schlarman, overseeing the Big Blue Wall, but of course you really can't replace John. Wolford seems like the right fit, and he's a Youngstown, Ohio guy. Imagine that, just like Stoops and Morrow. He's got some new weapons this week. Wednesday marked the start of the early signing period. I cannot believe we're even saying that. I mean, honestly, I can't. Kentucky officially added 18 Wildcats to the family that day.
Yeah, big names on the offense include Jagger Burton, DeKel Crowdus, and Jordan Dingle. On the defensive side, Khalil Saunders, Jordan Lovett, and transfer Justice Dingle from Georgia Tech.
7 guys from Kentucky. Boy, that's a good get. Vince Morrow talked about how big that was for the program.
Kentucky high school football is getting better and better every year, and it's making my job more easier to stay and put a lot of work in here in the Bluegrass State. Now, we always still going to recruit Ohio, but if you look at football across the state, it's really, it got a lot better. And you got to take your hat off to these coaches. They are really developing these kids. And it's, like I say, to have 6 players, and even in the past year, 6 or 7 players a year that can play in the SEC, that's really good for us.
A lot of good pieces for Liam Cohen to
Yes.
work with starting next year, and so I can't wait to see that happen.
Great.
All right, coming up next on BBN Game Day, we'll talk about another official hire for UK Athletics.
Well, it's Kyra Elzy. She's officially official.
Yeah.
Hear from her and the athletic director, Mitch Barnhart, right after this.
Today tastes like a home game, like a huddle. Tastes like we're bringing the heat, and like a front row seat. Today tastes like we're a team, and it never tasted this good.
We've been going to the same Skyline for 11 or 12 years now. When I see that familiar face at the drive-thru, it makes me feel good. Just making that connection, seeing them again. It's like going home. We always make sure that we eat as a family. And on the busier days, hitting the Skyline drive-thru is perfect for that. It's always a good experience, and everybody in the house is happy. We eat Skyline once a week for lunch or dinner. Yeah, sometimes it's 2 times a week. Skyline is definitely my family's favorite restaurant.
You're watching BBN Game Day, presented by Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance. Big on commitment.
Welcome back to BBN Game Day. The men's team isn't the only group of Wildcats suiting up today.
Well, that's right. The women's team is set to play Wofford at home at 1 p.m. and they'll have their official head coach at the helm during that game. It's Kyra Elzy, the UK athletic director, Mitch Barnhart, removing the interim tag and named Elzy the permanent head coach this week. He said he didn't feel like a national search was necessary.
You got one of the best right at home. Why would you leave home? And I felt very comfortable with what we had at home. We had a chance to talk about some of the dreams she has aspired to, Final Fours, national championships, those kind of things that our kids dream of and that she was dreaming of.
They didn't know exactly what I was doing. We finished watching film, and I kind of called the staff up one by one. I just happened to be looking at Kiki McKinney, and she was looking at me like, what is about to happen? I said, and so for the next couple of years, this will be your coaching staff. And they jumped up out of their chairs, and they were hugging each other, and they started hugging us.
Well, it was going a little better as the interim coach than it was as the official head coach. That's because the Cats lost to DePaul in Chicago. It was their first loss of the season.
Yeah, tough one there. Just not a complete game from them at all. Chastity Patterson still had 22 points. Dreana Edwards and Ryan Howard each had 15. But Kentucky committed 23 turnovers and really struggled defensively. Cats lost it 86-82.
Wasn't great.
But
No,
they left DePaul open for a lot of shots, and I think you got to give it DePaul credit on some of that, but wide open and could play defense a little better.
No, this team actually
has, they
have all the tools to play a much better defensive game for sure.
All right, there was some good news. The NCAA Division I Council passed a proposal to make all transfers immediately eligible this season. Why is that such good news? Well, it's good news for Jasmine Massengill. Christy, anytime you can add somebody that has already played in the SEC of this high caliber, 5-star, right?
Oh, yeah, this is great news for Kentucky. Great. Coming from Tennessee, she's incredibly physical. She's a scorer. She's going to bring some real energy on the defensive end, which is exactly what they needed on Wednesday. She has been going full on in practice. So the coaching staff telling us that she is ready for this and been itching to play. So honestly, I'm surprised that it's taken this long. Every other transfer has been eligible and ready to go.
Same here.
I'm surprised it's taken this long, but this is going to be a great addition for the Cats, no doubt.
You were eligible before she was.
Exactly. What's that about? Well, coming up next on the show, we'll get back to the men's team.
Still getting you ready for Kentucky versus North Carolina, and assistant coach Jay Lucas is here to help with that. We'll talk with him right after this.
When you shoot the Zesty Burger Sauce Rapids on this new double cheeseburger papadilla, oh, you're gonna want to capsize in that Chunderdome of meat, cheese, and pickles. The new double cheeseburger papadilla and the return of double cheeseburger pizza. Papa John's.
Happy birthday to you! Kentucky Farm Bureau has been insuring folks for more than 75 years. So, we know Kentucky. Case in point, we know the Happy Birthday song was written by a pair of Kentucky sisters. The whole song lasts only about 15 seconds. Yeah, good thing. Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance. Big on commitment.
If you thought you saw the last of double cheeseburger pizza, think again, because it's back at Papa John's again. Get a large double cheeseburger pizza for just $12. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
You're watching BBN Gameday, presented by Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance. Big on commitment.
Trusting each other, man. You got to know that the dudes that we're in this for each other. You get to that point, something good's going to happen. Second half, that's what happened.
I love everything about that. Play for each other. Something good's going to happen. They're buying in. It all comes back to that second half. Welcome back into the show. Coach Cal has clearly been getting his guys ready for today's matchup with North Carolina during Camp Cal. I don't want any part of that. Camp Cal scares me to death.
Especially if I hear 3 practices. Ooh. No. All right, our Mary Jo Perino caught up with assistant coach Jay Lucas for an update presented by Bird.
So, Coach, they always say you are what your record says you are, and Kentucky is 1-4 right now. But if we take that second half of the Notre Dame game, we saw some great things. We saw this team maybe figuring some stuff out. Has that bled over into practice following that game?
Yes, it has. And that's kind of something we will hopefully continue to use as some momentum. And it's kind of like you said earlier, you are what your record says you are, and we're a really, really young team, and the way the season has been structured this year and just everything we haven't been able to do and games we haven't been able to play has really kind of put us behind the 8 ball a little bit and have us in the situation where we are right now. It just takes time for 10 new guys to gel, and so we just haven't had enough on-court experience against other people for us to gel yet. So hopefully we can kind of use what happened in that second half and springboard.
Cal said Terrence Clark's going to stay at that point guard position. Tell me why you guys like that, what he brings to that spot.
Well, something just his size and his athleticism and his ability to kind of get in the paint and create help and just some of the things he can do at his size at that position. And he's a very unselfish player. He's someone who's willing to pass. And, we thought that would be best for the team right now. So we'll continue to try to help him get better at that position and just try to help him as much as we can.
These guys are young, obviously, as you said. They haven't played together much. Who is kind of showing up as a leader when you guys are having these tough 2 and 3 a day practices? Who's the guy that's rallying the troops?
We're still kind of trying to figure that out right now. And that's something that, like I was saying earlier, is just because we haven't had a lot of game experience, that kind of bleeds over into practice, when finding a leader because of the way they perform in the game. But somebody who has started to do it a little bit more is Olivier, and that was kind of expected because he is older and has been through some of the wars and battles already. But it's still, still kind of fluid. We're still trying to figure that out as well.
You could kind of see how the other guys tried to pick Olivier up at the end of that game after he missed that shot because he played so well and really poured himself into that game. And you could kind of see the guys maybe rallying around him.
Right. Yep. And that was something because he did, and you could feel it in the game and kind of see, like you're saying, how much energy and effort he put into the game. And, if it wasn't for him, we probably wouldn't have been even close in that game. So it was kind of one of those shots you wanted it to go down for him because of how well he had played and everything he had left on the court. But, it was a little bright spot that we kind of figured out some things that we could do with him.
Have you guys focused on opponents at all? I mean, this switch up with UCLA to North Carolina. Had you scouted UCLA a bunch, watched film with these guys, or are you just really focused on Kentucky right now? And whoever shows up in the opposing uniforms is who you got to play.
For the majority of the time right now, we're focusing on us because we have so much that we can fix and so much we can work on with the team we have this year that a lot of the time has been focused on us. But, the last second switch, we had just started to really get into UCLA and start talking about them. So now having to talk about North Carolina was a little bit of a curveball towards the end, but it's 2020. You're kind of expecting the curveballs throughout the whole year. So you just got to kind of be ready. And as long as we stay prepared and do what we're supposed to do and play to who we want to be as a basketball team, then we'll be fine no matter who the opponent is.
conference play is probably really going to be the most important thing this season because of the way things are shaking down. Any thoughts to, what Duke has decided to do or what other schools have decided to do with their non-conference schedules?
Well, I mean, to each his own. For us, we need more game experience. And like you were saying, conference is probably going to be the most important thing. So as many games as we can get in, I think that'll be better for us. We're not really right now focused on what the record looks like. We're more focused on how can we get better every day, how can we finish strong, how can we finish fast, and then hopefully in a month or 2 weeks or 3 weeks from now we'll be rolling and where we need to be. So I think right now for us, we're more focused on how can we prepare more for games than necessarily not trying to play games or not trying to take any more losses or anything like that. That's not our mindset. We're going out there to win every game and compete as much as we can.
Well, good luck this weekend against North Carolina. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Ended up being a huge matchup here. UCLA was going to be big enough.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
But now all of a sudden you're talking about North Carolina, Kentucky. That's a huge,
it's a big one. Well, you can tune in before the game to hear Dave Baker and UK legend Jack Givens on the Don Franklin Auto Countdown to Kickoff show. It features some other former UK stars and Coach Cal. It airs 90 minutes prior to game time on the UK Sports Network, radio affiliates, or through the UK Athletics app.
See, you're so used to saying kickoff. It's actually a tip-off.
Did I say that?
Yeah, you did.
I am used to saying that. I'm sorry. Football season's over?
I know, right?
That's hilarious.
They're going to tip this one off.
I am used to saying that. So, yeah, they are going to tip it off, though.
They're not going to tip off in high school around Kentucky, though. That's weird. I will talk about that more later.
Exactly. One more segment left in the show. You won't want to miss it.
We're wrapping things up on a positive note. It's our Coach Play of the Week. Don't go away.
Today tastes like a home game, like a huddle. Tastes like we're bringing the heat, and like a front row seat. Today tastes like we're a team, and it never tasted this good.
It was the holiday season, and as is often the case, magic was found in an unlikely place. Molly tried her best to make introductions. Dad couldn't see past his grown-up assumptions. But thanks to fresh ham and warm apple pie, Dad was finally able to see with fresh eyes. May the magic of fresh food never be over. Happy holidays to all from your friends here at Kroger.
Oh my Mom, I'm finished. We pray each day. May you come home and be okay. For now we wait for you to come.
For this week's Coach Play of the Week, we're going all the way back to the 2016 CBS Sports Classic when Malik Monk scored 47 points and hit the go-ahead three with 16 seconds left for a 103-100 victory over North Carolina. That was so much fun to watch.
My word. You almost forget about those kind of games. That was incredible.
What a scorer he was.
What an incredible performance and an even more incredible game, and we won. That was even better. So, well, thank you for joining us on this edition of BBN Game Day. We'll see you again next week. Until then, go Big Blue.